all deer have their preferences and habitat, but they are very highly adaptable animals and they can survive in almost any forest. And nowadays they're starting to take up residence in regional parks and state parks around the country. Now, the sheer number is getting overwhelming for some of these park systems, and now they're offering controlled hunting lotteries. And you might think, well, this is like shooting fish in a barrel, right? But actually, by participating in these programs, we can help our park systems out, and if we're lucky enough, we can end up with some deer meat in our freezer. And also, this is a good way to start out a youngster that's hunting because it's in a safe environment. What the park systems usually do is divide the property into zones, and they allow 2 hunters per zone. You're not going to get a trophy buck usually in a state park or regional park, but I have seen smaller buck in this state park where I'm filming. Now, the thing is you're helping out your parks, and if you don't get drawn in the lottery, the money that you paid for your application fee, at least it goes to a good cause. So if your park system is offering a controlled hunt deer, you can pretty much bet that they're overwhelmed with deer and they need to be thinned out. But you'll want to stay tuned because I'm going to show you where to place yourself the very first day of hunting season so you'll have the best chance of success. I'm River Ube, and welcome to my gun kingdom. Now, when a park system offers a controlled hunt, that means they control everything. They make the rules, and you should get those rules first of all, and then call ahead or email them and have them send you a copy of the map of the zones. So then once you get the zones, you want to go out and you want to scout out each zone because you don't know which zone you're going to get drawn for in the lottery. So there might be 7, there might be 5 zones. So take a piece of paper and a pen, and when you get to those zones, draw like a map of where you're going to go and place yourself that day. Now, as we go along in this video, I'm going to talk more about where you want to place yourself on opening day. Because the last thing you want to do is get out there and start meandering around and creating a bunch of noise and scare the deer off. So you want to have it mapped out. You want to have each zone and have at least 2 or 3 places in each zone, because when they take you, they actually have a driver, and the driver actually drops you off because they don't allow you to drive your own car back there usually. Okay, because they want to know how many hunters are going to be in that zone, and like I said before, it's 2 hunters. And when you get drawn, you get to choose your partner. You can take a friend, you can take your son, you can take your daughter, whatever. But they only allow 2 hunters per zone. So each zone, you need to know exactly where you're going to go that next day. Now, one thing is deer require several quarts of water a day, and depending on the temperature, they could require more. Now, behind me here, I have a water source here, and now this is out in the open, so this would probably be before daylight that they would come out here and place themselves out in the open. So we're going to walk down here a piece, and I'm going to show you a place where they have cover for water. So that's a good place. If there's no other place in a zone, but they have water in the zone, that might be a good place to set up. So here I find a main trail that deer have been using to get down to some water. Now, it looks kind of steep if you go about 10 feet from here, but don't worry about that because deer are very agile animals, and they can get down in there with ease, so you don't have to worry about that. But this is a main trail. It's used quite a bit. And over there behind us is some more trails that they're using to come in here. Now, this trail that I'm walking on to go through here is a man-made trail, okay? So they're not going to spend much time, you know, in the man-made trail. So they'll probably come from the woods behind us and come into this trail right here. But as you can see, when they get down to that water down there, they have a lot of cover. So this is a perfect place. Most parks allow you, in the rules, you'll have to check the rules, but most parks allow you to have one of those climber tree stands. So, but I would have a really good view of this area right here, you know, if you can't find anything else in that zone. This is a huge main trail for deer right here. You can tell, you can see how wide it is, and it's open. There's not a lot of close together trees back there, so they can come through here pretty easily and pretty fast. So another place I'd place myself is right here. And then there's behind us here is the water source, and we'll turn the camera around and take a look at that. So what they're doing here, they're coming through here, and I would say probably this man-made trail right here is probably about 15 feet wide. So they don't spend much time, but what they do is they come down in here and see all this water in here. So now they have cover on this side of this water source here, and on the other side there's a lot of cover too, and they can get down in there really easy. But I see another trail right in here where they would probably come down and have access to this water. And then there's another trail up there. So here's this man-made trail that's behind me here, and this is 15 feet wide approximately. And I have seen deer on this trail, but they stay really close to the edge of the woods. So when they see us coming, they usually take off and get in the cover right away. But anyway, this park that I'm in does an amazing job taking care of the property and maintaining a perfect habitat for deer. And you know, it's something that you want to take advantage of if you have a metro park or a state park near you. You know, check it out, because this offers great hunting for deer. And you know, what's better than filling your freezer with deer? But anyway, I'm sure they have a lot of knowledgeable people on staff here, because they do an amazing job, and it's just a great park to visit. And also, come opening day of hunting season, it's a great time to, you know, take your youngster out or take your friends with you and hunt one of those zones, because I'm sure you'll probably get a deer if you put yourself in the right spot. Now here we find at the base of this tree some acorn, and I'm finding a lot of tops from acorns. So these are what the deer are going to feed on come October. But during the spring, summer months, they'll be feeding on vegetation. And so, you know, don't ever discount any acorns. Like I said, they're highly adaptable animals, and they can learn to like any acorn, because these acorns provide a lot of fat before winter for the deer. So, but don't ever think that they won't eat a certain acorn. So that way you don't have to worry about identifying trees and things like that. Just keep it as simple as possible. Now, a lot of these park systems, they're not going to allow you probably to bait deer. So it depends on the state you live in, probably. And then you'll have to also check their rules for each park system. But I think baiting would probably be illegal in most states. You can leave a comment down below and tell us about your state and what they allow. But they will allow climber tree stands, a lot of them. And at least what you could do is you want to find some main trails around these the base of trees, and probably put yourself in a good spot to where you can have a good view of this area right here, because right here I have 3 or 4 big main trails here that are coming into this tree. So I know they're coming here in the fall to eat these acorns. So when we come to our parks and check out the area for the deer population, really the proof is in the pudding. I mean, if you spend enough time at your park system and hike around with your dogs or your family, you're eventually probably going to see deer. And if you see deer, you know they're in here. You just want to keep it simple. You don't want to have to study up on trees and know which different trees produce this type of acorn and everything else. You don't want to overwhelm yourself with all this knowledge that you're probably going to forget the next year. So just make sure there's a diversity of trees in the parks, a diversity of plants, vegetation, okay? In the summertime, springtime, the deer will feed on grasses and certain shrubs that are in the woods too. And so you want to look for trails and put yourself, when you go out to hunt that morning, you want to put yourself around the trails where they're coming into those certain trees that they like. So just basically keep it simple. Look for a water source nearby, and cover. Deer like cover because they're not out in the open all that much. And also to raise their young, they like a lot of cover too. And this state park, as you can see behind me, there's a lot of cover here. So the basic thing is just to keep it simple and don't overwhelm yourself with all kinds of stuff that you're not going to remember. Now, what I highly recommend using in these state parks, and most states allow this, is a straight wall cartridge. And I would like you to watch my video on the underrated Marlin 444. And I say underrated, I titled it that way, and I titled it that way because there's a lot of people out there that don't really take the 444 serious, and it's actually a perfect firearm for hunting deer. Your deer are thin-skinned animals, and a 444 is plenty enough power to stop them. And when you're hunting in these parks, you got to realize your zones aren't that big. They might have like 5 or 8 zones that you can hunt in. So you want to drop your deer pretty much where they stand, because you don't want them going into other hunters' zones. So the 444 can actually do that. So watch my video called The Underrated Marlin 444 here on Rivers Gun Kingdom. So I hope I helped you out, and you'll take advantage of your park system's controlled hunts. And I think it's fun for everybody to come out here and see what it's really like to be in an environment where the staff here at these parks really take good care of the habitat for deer. It's something that can be enjoyed by all of us. But I want to thank you for watching, and also I want to thank my subscribers and all my future subscribers too. And if you like this video and I helped you out, click the like button down below, and also hit the subscribe button, because there's always more future content coming up. But anyway, I thank you for watching.